chilling tales for dark nights.
My neighbor's strange. Everyone calls him Old Man White. He lives next door to me, all alone in his creepy old house. No one visits him, and he rarely leaves. I don't know how old he is, but he must be pushing 80 or more, with his stooped-over back and saggy skin that looks like it's just barely hanging onto his bones. He's as thin as a toothpick, probably 80 pounds, wet. When I first moved to this neighborhood, people told me about him. Told me all the rumors, that he used to be an important businessman, that he was rich, that he had a beautiful wife who slept around, that he killed her, that he ate her. I never believed them. Just a bunch of silly suburban gossip. He's probably just some crotchety old fart who keeps to himself. Never thought twice about it until that night. I've got bad insomnia. I can't remember the last time I had a good night's sleep. I always end up roaming around the house, watching TV or working on my projects. One night, the insomnia was real bad. I laid there in bed, wide awake, for about an hour before I realized I wasn't getting any sleep. I got up and went to the window to look at the stars, but I ended up looking at something completely different. The window faces out towards Old Man White's place, looking into his backyard in the back corner of the house. There's a window there, almost opposite mine, looking straight into the kitchen. I glanced in and saw Old Man White sitting at his dilapidated table, gnawing on something. I was mesmerized by the sight of his old, gnarled yellow teeth tearing into that meat like a dog. Drool oozed from the corner of his mouth as his lips smacked silently. I'm about to turn away in disgust when I realized something ain't right. What's he eating? And at this hour? I looked closer and realized that hunk of meat he's chewing on has got a ring on it, and it looks an awful lot like a hand. That can't be what it looks like, can it? I rubbed my eyes briefly, and when I glanced across the street again, nothing. It was gone. Did he see me? Had I just imagined it? The next day, after I finally got some sleep, I tried to rationalize what I thought I saw. I was just tired, seeing things, mind tricks. When you don't get enough sleep. Makes you see screwed up things like your old neighbor chewing on a hand like it was from KFC. Yeah, that's it. Just a sleep-deprived brain messing with me. Nothing to worry about, except I do worry because now, every time I look out toward his house, he's there, staring at me, smiling from ear to ear, his nasty teeth bared. He doesn't wave or say anything, he just stares. Every night since, I've looked at his house through my window with the blinds drawn, and every time he's there, staring, smiling, chewing. It's been a week since that night. I'm trying to figure out what to do about the old fart when there's a knock at my door. My heart pounds. I don't know anybody well enough for them to visit. No family out this way, just me, myself, and I, and the old man. I go to the door and stare at it, deciding what to do. There's no peephole, so I can't check to see who it is. It doesn't matter, though, because after a couple of seconds I hear a voice. "I know you're there, Sonny. Open the door so we can chat." It's him. I've never heard him speak, but I know it's him. Who else could it be? Despite every instinct in me screaming to run, I open the door. Sure enough, it's the old man, just as old as ever, still smiling that horrible smile. I ask him what he wants. Just to talk. I know you saw me enjoying my late-night snack a few weeks ago. It's my fault, really. I should have closed the blinds. But I wasn't expecting anyone to be up at that hour or peeking into my home. I watch him, not saying anything. You see, all I want is to be left alone. I ain't hurting nobody except those hobos I've been enjoying. And ain't nobody gonna miss them. So here's the deal. You keep quiet about my appetites and I'll leave you alone. Deal? He puts his hand out to shake. I don't take it. It's weird, this old man is probably as brittle as a moldy cracker. I could probably break him in half with a bear hug. But I don't because I'm too frightened. I can't place it, but there's something about him that isn't human. I look at his eyes, and I know that he could kill me if he wanted to. I take his hand and make the deal. For the next 2 weeks, I stay in my house, leaving only for groceries and supplies. I alternate between panicking about my situation and watching the old man with a strange, sick curiosity. I watch him bring home the homeless people he eats, wrapped in garbage bags, late at night, under the cover of darkness. All the while, he constantly toys with me. I see him staring at me at the most random times, always leering with those crooked teeth. The SOB even waved a couple of times. Even had the gall to come to my front door with my mail and ask me how I was doing. As if he didn't already know. I struggle with what to do. I can't go to the police because they won't believe me. I mean, who would believe a little old man like that, who looks like a strong breeze could break him, could ever do something so horrific? I finally realize there's only one thing to do. I have to put him down. I spend another week watching him, this time to learn his routine. When I think I've got it right, I prepare myself. I have to do this. I have to, or he'll never stop. Night falls and my pulse is already fast. I eye the old fart's place like a hawk, watching for the lights to go out. When they do, I wait an extra hour. Can't afford to screw this up. Have to be quick. The time comes, and I slink out my back door, a butcher knife in my hand. I don't have a flashlight, can't afford to give myself away. All I've got is the full moon above and my eyes as they adjust to the darkness. I make my way to the fence that separates our yards, and with a little effort I make my way over it. I creep towards the back door and test it. It's unlocked. Either he's forgetful, or he's so secure in his safety, he doesn't care. Either way, it's my benefit. I open it slowly and make my way in. The door leads into the kitchen, and I'm immediately hit with a wave of nausea as the smell of rotting flesh assaults my nose. Glancing around, it seemed normal enough. Then I notice the fridge. I'm suddenly hit with an overwhelming curiosity, and despite myself, I open it and peek inside. It's filled to bursting with plastic bags and Tupperware containers, all filled with the half-eaten remains of people. I can make out loose eyeballs, noses, and even fingers. One container even has part of a scalp, its matted hair pressed against the lid. I quickly but quietly shut the fridge, holding back the bile crawling up my throat. I take a moment to compose myself as best as I can, to remember what I'm here for. If I put him down tonight, no one else will end up in a Tupperware container. I make my way through the house toward the front, where I'm sure the stairs are. It's like any old house you've seen on TV, complete with the cobwebs. I find the stairs and carefully make my way up, taking my time to avoid any noises that might give me away. As I get to the top of the stairs, I take a moment to figure out where I am. During the last week, as I watched the place, the last light was always an upstairs room, which I took to be his bedroom. Orienting myself in my head, I head down the hallway towards the room I'm sure I need to go to. I reach the door of the room I'm sure is his. It's cracked open just enough for me to look inside and see the bed, the sheets and blankets, lumpy from the monstrous thing beneath it. I push open the door slowly and make my way in, the moonlight from the window glinting off the steel of my knife. As I reach the bed, I raise the knife above my head. This is it. Without a word, I bring the knife down, plunging it right in the center of the mass in the bed. I raise it above my head and bring it down again. Its aim still true. Over and over, I stab the thing 10, 20, maybe even 30 times. I finally stop when my arm simply can't stab anymore. I stand there, panting, full of grim satisfaction. I'm thinking to myself, how am I finally free from this nightmare, when I notice something odd. Something's supposed to be there, but it's not. It takes a moment before my brain puts the missing piece into place. Blood. There's no blood. Not a single drop. I throw the blankets and sheets back, sending feathers flying as I reveal a mass of pillows, now with holes and gashes from my knife. My heart stops as I realize what this means. Before I can run out of the house, a sharp pain spikes in my heel and I drop to the ground in agony. I look at my foot and see a deep gash right over my Achilles tendon. As blood pools from my foot, I desperately crawl away from the bed in fear and panic. And that's when I see him. He moves into my field of view from the direction of the closet. In his hand is a knife, now bloody from where he cut me. He sets it down on the end of the table, then he looks at me, those foul teeth showing in that hideous grin. Only now they're not yellow and old, now they're white. White, sharp, and pointed. In my shock and horror, my mind numbly compares it to the mouth of an anglerfish. He starts speaking, but his voice has changed. It's not that sickly, sweet old man's voice. Now it's deeper and more guttural. All I wanted was to be left alone. To be left to my own devices. Was that too much to ask for? As he makes his way towards me, he starts to change. He stands up straighter, his limbs elongating. The hands turn to claws as the fingernails grow. His face tightens as it lengthens into some sort of animalistic snout, of which I have no animal to compare it to. His eyes turn a solid, glossy black, and his jaw opens wider, far wider than any human can open their mouth. He speaks again, and his voice is even more monstrous. Such a pity. I thought we could be friends. Now you're just another meal. I wonder how you taste. Perhaps if I seasoned you with garlic. As that maw of sharp teeth looms closer, fear overtakes me. I'm paralyzed as it gets closer and closer, as its hot, rancid breath washes over my face. I remember I still have the knife in my hand. Suddenly, filled with a new batch of adrenaline, I jam it into the thing's eye as hard as I can all the way to the handle. The thing rears back, screaming in agony, and I use this time to get away. My foot's in agony, but the fear and looming death is a much greater motivator as I make my way back down the stairs to the front door. My plan is to run out into the street, screaming and yelling my head off to get someone, anyone's attention. But no matter how much I try, the door won't budge. I can't figure it out. It's not locked, but it won't open. as an almost thundering, inhuman laughter booms down the stairs behind me. I realize there's no time. That thing is coming for me, so I hobble my way to the back door where I came in originally. I can get to the street from the backyard. I make it to the door, but before I can yank it open and get out, a fresh agony rips through me as the creature's claws stab me from behind. Oh, God. I can feel it hook into my ribs. It pulls me away from the door, and I can feel its breath on my neck. Now you've made me even hungrier. No time to prepare you properly. I'm just going to have to devour you now. As its fangs tore into my neck and ripped away hunks of meat, I knew it was over. More and more of my flesh was stripped away, and as darkness finally claimed me, I heard the beast speak one more time. Needs pepper.
Chilling tales for dark nights.